Remix.
Bachelor Nation, will you accept this rose? We love you. Love is in the air. It's magic. 'Cause love is on the air. On TV. So love is on the air. Podcast. It's a podcast. Podcast. Love is in the air. It's magic. 'Cause love is on the air. On TV. So love is on the air. It's a podcast. Featuring Andy, Sarah, and Glenn. Bachelor Pod, it's the Bachelor Pod, it's a podcast about the Bachelor.
Will you accept this podcast?
Okay, and we're back on the Bachelor Pod. It's the Fantasy Suite Date Night Date Podcast. And boy, was that a snooze fest. Woo!
Honk shoe. That's me snoring.
Boring. Yeah, that was, I gotta admit, I wasn't riveted by that 2 hours of TV.
I'm just gotta talk to everybody. I've been away for like 2 weeks now. I guess 1 week of podcast, but it's been 2 weeks. I haven't told everyone my big news.
We gotta get this out of the way, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we haven't been able to mention this yet.
We haven't been able to mention it because I signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I was at the Bachelor Winter Games finale show.
Yeah, like the final rose show.
Like the
The
final
World
rose
Tells
show.
All.
The world. Oh my
Right,
God.
that's what it was called, yeah.
It was awesome. It was hilarious. It was great.
We saw you twice on TV, too. Keen-eyed podcast people can find Sarah.
Yeah, it is some embarrassing shots for sure. One where I'm just staring and it's just a very long
waving
face.
waving the flag, I think.
The waving the flag at the end, yeah. We were
Oh, yeah.
disappointed. Nessa was with me, my comedy partner here in LA. And Nessa Frantowski, follow her on Instagram. We were making so many faces trying to get
Big reaction.
big reactions, trying to get on TV. We had a camera on us for, I'd say, a solid like 5 to 10 minutes and nothing, except for that one shot where we're waving the flags was used. But it was cool, like what they get you to do, because they shoot it before the season's done. So they got us to watch the last 2 episodes in this group of basically women. There were a few dudes in there, but it was basically like, I'd say 80%, 90% women. And so we all watched these 2 episodes together, and it was so fun to just watch the Bachelor Nation show, which with so many people. And we were all burning everyone, and we were all laughing. And especially such a fun show, like no one really cares. I've found out that like America loves Ben. Like everybody was going on and on about Ben.
Benoit, we're talking
No,
about.
Ben
right?
Higgins.
Whoa,
Not
Higgy.
Benoit, Ben Higgins.
And I thought he was so boring and ugh.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Ben's here. Like, they were so pumped. While we were waiting, Chad Johnson walked in. This is my gossip that I have about this.
Ooh.
So he walked in, and he had, like, the same colored wristband that I had on. And I was like, whoa, how the mighty have fallen. Like, he's not even, like, backstage.
Chad, classic dickhead Chad from Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah. And then he didn't end up in the show, so I don't know what happened. I don't know why he didn't end up watching it. Maybe he was upset that he wasn't there, or maybe they're like, please don't come in because you suck. But he wasn't in the room with us. And then just to watch it, like it was the taping, watching it took like 3 hours, and then the taping took like 4.
Oof, that's a long day.
Yeah, it was really long. We were there for 8 hours total. Because of like the
Wow.
in-between stuff, they did provide lunch, subs from Subway.
Nice.
I did take multiple bags of chips with me and some LaCroix,
Oh, great.
or however you guys say it here.
LaCroix.
Yeah, it was. I was so excited. I had a blast. I just gave in to the experience. I didn't make fun of it. We were losing it. There were these moments where they were like making us laugh to get laugh shots. So Anessa beside me was like, and I'm like, Anessa, they're not going to use any of those clips if they got you, because I am dying laughing beside her. I was like crying laughing because I couldn't believe that we were there. And it was just like, yeah. And then I don't know if you guys talked about, but Benoit and Claire got engaged.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet
talked
because
about
that was
any of
last
this
week.
stuff.
But I mean, that's really the only thing I think that
fun
came
thing.
out of that
Yes.
Winter Games really that's worth talking about besides Luke being a shithead.
Oh my God, Luke, what a shithead. And when they showed that, like, them chatting afterwards, like, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear that. So that
Oh,
was
yeah.
new to us too. It was so interesting to see what they used and how they edited it. The people from other countries kept swearing. Like, they just kept swearing the whole time, so they couldn't use, like, I noticed they used one of it, but that was, like, one of, like, 20, like, fucks or shits from, like, the Aussies and all these other people. It was so funny to me. I was laughing so hard every time that guy said jacuzzi because they showed it a bit, but that guy said jacuzzi so many times. Jacuzzi. And me and Anessa were, like, laughing very loud out loud, and people kept looking at us. And then they were gonna give like the final rose tickets out to somebody in the crowd, and they're like, you guys are fun, where are you from? We're like, Canada. We like started screaming, and then they didn't give us anything.
Oh,
We
man.
were too much. That's why we didn't get, like, making way too big of faces that were obviously too much. Like, Inez at one point was like, watch this, and then she started to pretend to cry.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. 'Cause it also wasn't at a time when, like, something like worth it was happening, so they knew we were making it up.
But it's because you guys felt the camera was on you, right?
Yeah. So we were like, let's make some faces.
Yeah, but
like,
then
let's.
they didn't really use any
They
of your
didn't
stuff.
really use much. They used a faraway shot of us waving a flag and a real brutal shot of me watching. And there's one earlier on you can see us too. But
That's something.
it was fun, and we got little Canadian flags. I don't think I want to do it again.
Did they ask you what flag you wanted?
That's a long 8 hours.
It's a long 8 hours. Yeah. They did, and we're like, we're from Kiss. We were just too much. Like, we were just too much. But it was a blast. It was really
That's
fun.
good.
I
Good
really
experience.
loved watching it with a group of people like that. Like,
That's how the show should be watched, really.
yeah, because you watch it in, like, a group setting sometimes. We do a lot here in LA because a lot of our friends watch it, but everyone chats the whole time. So I find, like, everybody was really tuned in. And so we were just really enjoying it together. And after that at Tanessa, I was like, that's enough. Like, even that would have been a fun day for me.
Yeah.
But so I really had fun. I don't think I ever want to go to the final rose or anything. The only reason I want to do that is because I think they'd use our faces more, because it is more dramatic. Like, this isn't as much of a dramatic show, and our faces were way too dramatic for the type of show it was.
Right.
I feel like you guys' faces were probably too dramatic for anything.
Yeah.
You guys were, by the sounds of it, you guys are really going hard at it, which I think is very funny.
It was so much fun. It was like Kramer being in the audience or something, just like too much the whole time.
Rusty!
Yeah, it was really fun. And Kevin and Ashley are together. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Canadians came out
On
looking
top.
good here.
Yeah, they're probably gained the most out of this experience.
Oh my
I'd say.
God,
I mean,
Kevin has,
Benoit's
like,
fucking
tons of-
engaged, for
Yeah.
Christ's sake.
Which is ridiculous. When I was sitting there when it happened, and there was this kid beside me, like in his early 20s, and I was just like, too soon, Benoit. And then the guy beside me was like, yeah. We were all like, the whole audience was like, what?
It's just,
He wasn't even on the entirety of the show.
Bizarre, like so weird.
It's so
So weird.
And I don't even know how much they've seen each other in person. Like, I bet they could count on their hands.
Oh, yeah.
How many days they spent together.
I seen her a couple times, okay? So I seen her more than
But
enough for
Benoit's
me.
here. So Benoit, what is going on? Like, you got engaged to Claire.
Oh, she is so très formidable,
Oh my God,
huh?
Claire's
Claire, she
here
is
too.
beautiful. Oh, Claire, you are here.
I just love love, and I hope everyone loves love, and this isn't fake. It's real. I swear it's real.
You sound a bit like Crystal, eh? What is going
Crystal's
on?
my cousin.
What?
Oh, what?
Yeah, we're cousins.
Wow,
So your other
bombshell.
cousin
you heard it
is-
here first.
Homeless, eh? Anyway, it is not too soon for all those saying it is too soon. You can just believe that it is true love. And Claire is the love of my life, always, okay?
Sure, I haven't been to Montreal at all or met any of his family or, even understand what he's saying most of the time. I'm just really excited.
That is a very good Claire sounding voice, okay? So anyways, we are going to go now and learn what each other's favorite TV shows are, okay? Because we got to find out a lot about each other before we tie that knot.
I love love.
Oh, great. Thanks,
man.
Benoit and Claire. That's great.
Really sounded like Claire.
Yeah, really sounded like
Spot
She
on.
doesn't really have a very specific voice.
No, she doesn't. Sounded kind of like you, in fact.
Yeah. Well, so I guess it was worth it sending you guys out to LA then, because for once it actually really paid off.
It really did. I really got an inside scoop of how it all works, and watching them all, like they were all celebrating and taking pictures. I saw a bunch of producers that I always see on Instagram and the girls' pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was neat.
Cool.
But the guy
Pretty cool.
who is usually the producer on like all of them, what's his name?
Mike
Elon?
Fleiss?
Elon,
Oh,
yeah.
Elon, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I don't think he's involved in Bachelor games. But
I doubt
so
it,
this is interesting. The lady who came in, she like asked us if we liked it, and she was like, "We really liked this one. It's one of the most favorite things we've ever made." So cool.
Cool.
Hopefully they make it again. I liked it.
Well,
I
yeah.
loved it.
I loved it, too.
Me and Anessa were obsessed with it. The night before we went to this thing, we watched the first 2 episodes. So we spent 4 hours the night before. So we spent 12 hours within 24 hours watching
Pure consuming Bachelor Winter Games
Bachelor
content.
Winter Games content.
Wow.
And it
That's
was,
that's a
we were
lot.
obsessed. We might have been a bit high, honestly, throughout everything. But it was very fun.
Right on.
Fun LA day.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Well, the Bachelor people have been busy because they had to do, I guess they shot Women Tell All before that.
Yeah, we almost got to go see that because we kind
Right.
of have an inside to one of the producers, but we were too late. Which I'm kind of fine with. Like, this was more fun.
Yeah.
I think we got to be.
I bet it was more
silly and-
lighthearted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more lighthearted. The Women Tell All is my like. I wouldn't want to go to that.
It was pretty boring. The crystal stuff was good. I
Yeah.
liked that, seeing the immense amount of burn she was taking. And sort of Becca M proved she was sort of the mature one out of the bunch, even though she's only 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else happened? There wasn't anything too big. What's her name? Carolyn? She went hard.
She went too
Carolyn
much.
really made a name for herself on this one, and
And everyone's like talking about how she should audition for a soap opera and like. 'Cause she was just
I
like,
know what you did.
I know you did. And like, these ladies are my friends. And you
Yeah,
did.
listen, Carolyn, we all know what he did. Everybody knows what he
No,
did.
she was saying that she was crying at Crystal when she did that. She's like,
She's-
"You called my friends blank. I can't believe you did that." And she's
No,
like,
I mean when
crying.
she says, "You know what? I even
Yeah.
know what you did." Yeah.
But she was crying at like mine's like, "Dude, you got off too early to be this much."
Yeah,
You're
she
not
was definitely.
important.
There's always one who tries to make a
Yeah.
name for themselves at the Women Tell All, and she was obviously that person. And then Tia was obviously the person campaigning to be the Bachelorette.
Yes, big.
And
time.
man, I don't know about Tia. I mean,
I don't like her.
And Becca worked it out just fine, like reasonable people. But yeah, I don't know. But Tia just seems fake or something.
No, and to say like, I need to tell him this because it's our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, fine, then tell him in like the fantasy suite or something, or tell him when you're private. Like, to tell him and then go immediately tell her that you said it. What are you trying to do? Like, what is this for? Because like he knows all this stuff. Also, my thing in these situations, which would be a red flag for me if I was Ari,
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about when Tia talked to Ari about Becca.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something that happened on the final on the
No.
Women Tell All. Sorry, my bad.
no.
Okay, I was very confused there for a second. I was
No.
like, wait, what?
Yeah,
When did she talk to him? What?
abruptly.
Anyways, carry on.
Anyways, red flag for Ari in that whole situation for me is that like he knows this stuff. He can make decisions for himself. He's dealing with I'm sure he's asking the questions he wants to ask. He doesn't need someone constantly trying to like keep other people away or whatever.
Right.
Like,
Well, that was speaking of Ari. That's one of the other things I took away from this was him in the bloopers and him being real, quote unquote, on stage was sort of the most of his personality we've seen all
Yes,
season. And now I
100%.
can see why the women would be like, yeah, he's kind of funny. Because he seemed like he's not funny, but he's funny. You know what I mean?
For
Like,
them,
he,
like for people that like
Quirky, you called him.
Yeah, I called him quirky. I was like, he's being a bit quirky, and I liked seeing that side of him, and that's probably what they saw. And it's like, not to crap on these ladies, but some of these ladies like are kind of boring. We've talked about it.
We've talked about that at length. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is quirky if you're kind of boring. Like,
Yeah.
that is funny.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like,
And I wish
I'm
like,
sure if I lived in Wiener, Ari'd be pretty cool. I never think
Yeah.
of it that way. Like, I never think of people like these ladies who just want this so bad and they come on the show. They probably dream about being on the show, probably try and be on the show for so many years. I know there's so many people like that. And then, of course, they want it. So, like, that's good for them. He might be one of the good ones. I have no idea.
I just wish they could show more of the bloopery stuff actually in season, because it ends up making him look so stiff. Like,
It's true.
yeah,
And,
I don't know.
why he looks stiff is probably because he took like 5 takes to say the things he's saying.
That's true. Yeah.
So he's not
Yeah.
even being natural anymore. That's what
Right.
that showed me too, is they go through so many takes of them being like telling how they feel.
Yeah.
And like they
Yeah.
laugh, they'll be like, I'm really sad. A bug. And it's like, are you sad?
Love the bug ones. Love the
The
bug
bug
bloopers.
ones are great.
Big on the bugs. So yeah, I mean that all of this week's content I wasn't too jazzed about. It was a bit of a slog getting through it, and again, the Crystal stuff was pretty good. Seeing her get her comeuppance and then burn her on her voice, it was a bit of a gang up, but as I think it was Becca, summed it up perfectly. Where it was like, just admit you were being a bitch, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
And then she still couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Well, and she also made a good point when she was saying that she can't, like, everyone's shitting on her because of her age and if she's ready. And she's like, but no one's talking about how, like, not asking if Crystal's ready when she can't manage, like, her emotions at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's such a good point. I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to go be like a talk show host or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she
You
would be a
are-
good talk show host. That's
you
true.
are very good at bringing things out and making people realize things. And the stuff with Tia, when she was at the end, she's like, I would tell him no matter what. Like, and then everyone cheered for her. And I was like, no one cheer for Tia. She's wrong. She shouldn't be talking to him about fucking Becca.
Yeah.
I was worried
Tia-
about his heart.
His heart.
I was worried about his heart. Shut the fuck up.
Hard.
That's not how things
Hard.
work. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, you wanted to be the only one. You know
Yeah.
why that's true? Because I wasn't here last week, so I didn't say this. But at the end of at the rose ceremony, when he was deciding between Kendall and Tia, when he took Kendall aside, she's like, I don't think she's ready. I don't think that's all she kept saying. So like, she's just using that to try and stay there.
Yeah. I feel
She
kind
won't
of
be
weird.
the Bachelorette, I don't think. I don't think she'll be.
I don't. Yeah, it's hard. It's a tough call. I feel kind of weird saying this, but we kind of said it before when Crystal was talking about her growing up in a bowling alley. But when she said that her homeless brother had seen the show and has convinced him to come home, that was kind of like her capper to say, like, kind of save face. I don't mean to call her a liar, but I just don't believe that.
No, man. I think we can call Crystal a liar. I still don't think.
No, there's just something about it where you're like, is that true?
It's like Raven's
Yeah.
story about hitting the guy with like breaking down the door and hitting the guy in the head with her shoe because he was cheating on her.
Liar.
Like, liar.
You're lying.
I bet she laughs about lying about that now.
It's a lie.
And this was her, like, she's a total manipulator. Crystal
Yeah.
is a total manipulator. And I could see it in her eyes. I'm like, maybe he contacted her, but this whole, like, it was worth it because all this happened. I doubt everything happened the way she said it
I
happened.
know. I was when I saw that, I was like, oh, you know what? If that really happened, I'm like very happy for them. Crystal still needs a lot of work to like figure out, you know, how to be a real person. But you know, if that really did come out of it for her family, like good for them.
Yeah,
and
fair.
I wish them the best. But there was just that little bit of thing where it's like, yeah, I don't know if that really happened, Crystal. I'm not so sure about that.
Because she pulls it out. It was just like the bowling alley thing. She pulls it out at the last minute when she knows she's cornered, which is that's what makes me think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I lived in a bowling alley. What?
What?
Yeah, why didn't you say this earlier? And then, I mean, the part that they showed us, that bonus footage of her freaking out where she's like, take my mic off, take my fucking mic off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that seemed to be a window into the real
Yes.
Crystal, which was like a really cranked up, shitty version of what we knew of her already.
Yeah.
I think she called him like Needle Dick.
Okay,
Needle
did she
Dick,
call
yeah.
him Needle Dick? Is that what
Yeah.
she
Must have
called
been
him?
Needle Dick. Because
Needle
they
Dick.
Somebody said needle. We heard the needle part later in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
when
pretty
the
funny.
people from that movie showed up, which was so stupid
That was
and weird.
oh my god, that was so bad, and
So
none of them wanted
awkward.
to be there. Thank God, Baron Holtz
John
was an
Cena loved it.
improv
John-
master.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Cena loves to be anywhere. I do love John Cena because he's really trying to be The Rock, and it's great.
I love those. I loved all three of those guys, and it really seemed like none of them had seen The Bachelor ever, except for Leslie Mann. She asked,
Leslie Mann, yeah.
she had watched, right? But Ike Barinholtz was talking a lot, but I was like, you haven't watched this show. Like,
I could understand the cross promotion if it was a romantic comedy, but it wasn't even that. Like, it was such a funny cross promotional device. Like,
Yeah,
ugh.
it was weird.
Anyway.
But fun. I love Ike Barinholtz, so I'll watch him.
Yeah,
anytime.
I love all
me
three
too.
of those
But it was
guys.
He was getting
All
right
three of
into
those
it.
guys are funny. Anyways.
That was fun. So the
so now
fantasy
the
suite
episode.
date, we
Yeah.
always, I think we've learned over the years not to get too excited about it, right? It never delivers, really. It's a lot of rehashing, and even the idea of the fantasy suite being somewhere where you can get down is been downplayed severely over the last little bit, especially in this one. They didn't even really mention sex. They didn't really even really allude to that so much as like they treat it as an opportunity to talk without the cameras there, which is all we really got out of this. And I don't know, this is one of the most boring fantasy suite ones I feel like I've seen in a while. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's 'cause
boyfriend
they
thing.
rushed through it. They rushed through also.
Yeah.
I noticed the fantasy suites went by so fast because they wanted to get to this half hour of the boyfriend coming over, who at
Right.
first we thought was super handsome, and then we're like, oh, he's a controlling asshole. He
Ugh,
wouldn't even let her talk.
prick.
We
That was-
hated him by the end.
That was bad. But
I thought he was
let's-
super hot, and I was like, "Oh, look at this guy! He's way better looking than Ari. Go for it, girl!" And then I was like,
Go
"Oh,
for it, girl. They were
The
together for
guy was
7
dressed like
years.
Forrest Gump.
yeah."
He was dressed like Forrest
I mean,
Gump.
go for it and like go with this guy.
I
but
felt
now, no way, he sucks. I hate
this episode was yeah, like you said, quite boring. I felt despite even the boyfriend thing, which didn't excite me because I knew realistically there was no chance
Yeah.
that anything was really going to happen here. And like Ari was so Ari really, I mean, it's for the cameras. I don't think he would have acted that way if the cameras weren't there, but he played it pretty well, like just sitting there and talking to that guy. Like,
Yeah, he
would
stayed
seem-
cool.
he
That's
stayed
for sure.
But the whole thing, you know what? It's probably one of the worst fantasy suite episodes I can remember. But everything leading up to this point has been, I think, quite good. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to, like, you know what? If it took to fantasy suites for us to get our first very boring, like, kind of bad episode,
True.
that's way better than
I don't
most
think
seasons.
it was very boring. I mean, he did tell 2 women he loved them.
That's true.
This is just
I-
me personally. Like, I always find these episodes to be super boring.
Me
so,
too.
Like, yeah.
I didn't find it super boring. I liked that it was fast. I liked that it was like they sped through the dates, which is the boring part, to get to some drama. Like
Yeah.
the guy coming was drama, and it was like
It was.
I just in like which is better than most of these ones. It's usually just he has sex with 3 women and kicks one out afterwards. This one
True.
was he had sex with 3 women, I don't know, but then got in this weird conversation with this lug who came and tried to steal a woman back, and it was just interesting to see that all play out.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it was
guess-
a more interesting fantasy suite date. Still not like the best episode of the season or anything like that, but still more interesting than usual.
The lug was just so, I mean, it's so obvious that it wasn't just this him on a whim flying down, trying to barging into the resort. Like, that's just so unfathomable that someone would do that and time it perfectly for, like,
Yeah.
that whole thing bothered me. And it almost seemed like they gave the guy, they're like, okay, so you're going to come in and you're going to try to win her back. And he
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, that, I guess, but like, it didn't, like, nothing really made sense. I guess it just because it felt so phony. Besides Becca's response to everything, because I thought that was going to be drawn out more, and she might be like, "Oh, I don't know, I might need time to decide." But thankfully, she was just like, "What are you doing here? This makes no sense, and you're nuts." Which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thankfully, was the response.
Let's quickly go over the dates.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll get to
date
that.
1, Kendall. They go. What did they do? They went sand surfing,
Which looked fun, and they did
that
fall
looked
down.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really, you can't be surprised Kendall got the boot because she said, I don't want to get engaged." I mean, even
Yeah.
just then was like, well, I mean, you'd have to be far and away the best person here to, like, you'd have to be the hottest times 100 to be able to climb that mountain.
Yeah.
And especially considering what happened after.
I appreciated Kendall's honesty there, though. At
Oh,
least.
me too.
And I think at the end of this, she ends up coming out looking the most realistic.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And the
Yes.
most level-headed and all that of like anyone who was on the show this year,
really
I'd
love
say.
her.
Her and Beckham.
Yeah. And they're friends. I thought they were friends before the show, but I don't think they were.
The funny thing about that date was when Ari was like, or Kendall was like, boyfriends have treated me like a novelty before because I play the ukulele. I'm into taxidermy. And then you think about it, and it's like Ari's kind of treated her like that too, because he's always like, "You're different. You're quirky."
Yeah,
yeah,
I hate that.
yeah.
shit.
So like, what? I don't know.
I know, and the show treated her that way. And
Yeah,
then,
totally.
She made it far enough where like it seemed like Ari was like willing to not do that anymore. But then the fact that she was honest and said she wasn't ready, it's like I think then he was just like, okay, well that's it.
Yeah,
That's enough.
Yeah.
But I like Kendall for Bachelorette.
I would love to see Kendall
I'd
as
love
Bachelorette.
to see Kendall's Bachelorette. She is an interesting person. She has personality. Like when the big bummer of this episode was that she is gone, and then we're left with three people who
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're left with three classic pieces of bread. Just
three.
old school sliced bee.
Yeah, yeah. We say this a lot, but man, when Kendall woke up in the morning and didn't have makeup on, it was like, whoa, she's so much better looking than I thought before. Same thing with Lauren B. When they all went makeupless post morning, I was like, whoa, yeah. You kind of, I don't know, the hotness really shone through, I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Lauren B looked a little plain. And plain Jane, and then the makeup is what makes her looks a little more exotic.
Oh, see, I almost think the opposite. I almost think she looks plain with the makeup on, and you get to see her more natural features. But hey, different strokes, different folks.
Hey, man, it happens. Yeah.
So there was also the ever-present theme this time, as in the rest of the season, that Ari just couldn't stop kissing them. Like, it was like Liv and I have just started sort of turning away when he starts just completely sucking back their faces. And that kept happening.
It's gross. It's very gross. It's too much.
Yeah.
The hand holding. I mean, we've talked about it all season. The head holding with his hands and all that. And, all that kind of stuff. It's just too much.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I'll be happy to never see it again.
Me too.
He's gross.
Yeah, he's gross. Like, pretty much final word. He's gross. And is he going to get grosser next week during the finale? I'm not sure. Probably. Yeah. So Kendall's date, a lot like the other ones, the only doubt was that she wasn't really ready for things, even though she did eventually say she's falling in love with him, which is way too late.
Yeah, she's a couple steps behind Kendall. But again, like that's the most realistic.
Yeah, of course.
I think you're gonna get. It's like, oh well, she's considering the option of maybe falling in love with him after a couple weeks. Like, yeah, that's how it works. That's kind of how it works in real life, right? But obviously, you gotta be faster. You gotta be speedier on this if you wanna make it. And she didn't.
And the other two certainly did. Lauren's date, they went on a helicopter ride over the Nazca lines that were pretty fucking cool. But Lauren was very much not, I don't know, she was in her head, which has been the story the whole time. And Ari said something along the lines of, I spend these dates with Lauren reassuring her, and we kind of get behind that way. But I don't know, man. LB,
yeah. I think this is why I guess everyone's like Lauren B so boring, is because she doesn't talk and all this kind of stuff. It's because she's constantly worried about all this stuff. I mean that would. I mean, I guess it would affect anyone that way, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. Come on, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going out and having fun with Becca and Kendall, it's like that's a real hurdle for Lauren B to have to try and get over now. I feel like she's really setting herself back.
Yeah, but maybe that's just what they want us to think. The trick is on.
Yeah, the trick is on always.
They went off to the fantasy suite too, no problem. Obviously, there was no hesitation, I believe, with this one.
He reassured her, and then.
Oh yeah.
She cried, and then they went off.
Standard move. And yeah, it was more kissing. There's really not much to say about this date, quite frankly. The theme, Lauren B's theme of it being her not too, like, her being nervous and then sort of spilling her guts and saying, I love you, was kind of, par for the course here. That's been her storyline all season. And Ari, for some reason, was into saying, I love you back.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, is a huge mistake on this show. And
He just copied everything they said each time. He
Yeah.
said, falling for you, I love you, I love you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they said.
It seemed especially true with Bekak, with her I love you. Like, with Lauren B, it seemed a little more natural. They seem to be heading there anyway, but I don't know.
I think that he's trying to stir up a little drama. I think he's trying to make his season the most unforgettable season ever by taking cues from previous Bachelors and stuff like that, right? So, like, he's just doing what Ben did by saying I love you to two women, because that was such a big deal at the time. It was
Right.
Ben, right? Yeah. And I honestly think that's what he's doing. I don't know if it seemed like it wasn't even like a struggle for him to, like, he didn't even consider not saying it. He just said it. And I feel like it's because, like, well, I feel like I probably love her. So I'll just say it. It'll be great. People will be talking about it. It'll be news, it'll make the season really big. Like, I honestly think that's what he's thinking. When he was saying that.
Could be. I mean, he's had so much time to plot his, how he'd play the Bachelor, right? Apparently he's been campaigning for it for years. So, yeah, maybe he's just going hard.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous and against the rules if you're thinking about if you think the show is real, because he's got himself into something where one of these ladies is going to be very upset, and possibly the other one, if they find out that he said I love you to both of them.
Well, yeah, and there's a big, whatever the big drama is that happens and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I think we're still have stuff coming that's going to be good.
I hope so. I mean, has anything ever lived up to the hype on this show? Like, has anything ever, when Chris Harrison teases something or the show teases something, has there ever been a moment like, whoa, yeah, that was pretty good? Nothing's jumping out at me.
Maybe in like a Paradise or something. Maybe in like mid-season. I think the stuff has really paid off, like with Chad or with stuff like that. But I don't know about finale stuff.
Yeah, finales are usually, they don't live up to the hype at all. It's usually something very simple where someone, like, the show makes you think he picked someone who he shouldn't have picked or dumped someone he shouldn't have dumped, and then it's just a matter of that fallout. So, I don't know, like, they keep teasing that scene where he's in that apartment, and then, he leaves or something, and someo's crying in another room.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we thought that was going to happen this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Kendall, but...
But it looks like he's in a different place when it happens, too.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but it definitely
looks like he's in LA or something. Looks like
Liv?
a regular apartment.
Liv thinks it's Bekak who's crying. She's tried to match the cry and thinks it's Bekak, but I don't know.
I think it is, too. I heard the voice of it, and I was like, that sounds like Becca, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what? Because it's tied to the love thing. It's got to be. Like, maybe the two women talk and find out. I don't know, or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, if not on this show, they're gonna find out later.
Yeah,
one of them
on
is gonna
AFR,
find out later,
yeah.
and it's gonna fuck them up just like it did Ben H. Right? Like that's gonna fuck you up, you dummy. Why did you why did he even? There's not only a show reason why they used to. I guess they probably told him in the old days that, like, you just can't. You cannot say it. You cannot say anything like that because it'll give away too much, and people will be able to, I mean, I guess they could just always cut it out. But anyways, but now it's like, don't you realize what you're doing? You're sabotaging your future relationship.
But I think they changed everything. Like, they see each other now, and they were never allowed to see. I think Chris Harrison has a bigger hand in it, and he is more in the middle of it as becomes friends with all these people. And I think he wants it to be more natural. I think that's what they've changed. Because before it was very unnatural. They could never say how they felt. Mm-hmm. And they could never see each other for like 2 months afterwards. Yeah. So it just nobody worked out. Because that's not a natural way to have. This is so unnatural anyways. That I think that's why if you hear him like in the past like 4 years, he says all the time like, do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Like, you can go see whoever you want. You can go talk to whoever you want. There's no rules. And I think there were rules before, but I think they're like stressing now that it's like you have power. It's not the show's power.
I think that's smart and that's good because I think they've realized how it really helps the fact that people do stay together for them, right? Like, for them, if they did this show for 20 seasons or whatever it is, and I mean, this is actually how it is for so long, but like only 2 or 3 of those couples stayed together over 20 seasons or something, it's like, what the fuck am I watching then? This show doesn't work, obviously. You can't tell people that this works, this process works. Like, you can't say that. So they've obviously invested in having the couples try and stay together.
Yeah.
Which I think is very smart. And also, there's this side of it where it's like, they're so obsessed with secrecy for so long. But just look at the spoiler that came out recently. I'm not going to say what it is, don't worry. Because I don't really know it, but I think I figured it out. But anyways, just gleaming from little things. But I didn't actually read it. But I think people who like the show either are fine with knowing the spoilers and they'll keep watching, or they don't even pay it. They avoid the spoilers and keep watching.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's that many people who are like, okay, well, I know the spoilers, so I'm not going to watch the whole season.
Yeah.
It's like, they might stop watching
You watch
at a
you
point or
find out
something.
the spoilers because you like the show.
Yeah, exactly. So spoilers don't. So even if someone does find out who he chooses in the end because they're together, as long as they're like trying to be a little bit discreet about it, I think it's fine.
Anessa had an interesting view on the show in general. She's like, now with Tinder and internet dating and it being so like even more than it ever was before, like everyone just. A lot of it's for hooking up and a lot of it's like just thrown away. People hide behind their phones and they ghost on people all the time. And she's like, this show is almost old school in the way, like he's courting people.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's weird. It's almost like for some of these people, like it's going before when it came out, it was like gross and people were like, a man dating a bunch of women, that's disgusting. But now how kind of sometimes disgusting how people act and how flippant people are with their like relationships, because people really do just hide behind their phones and their computers. It's like, no, people are actually talking and they're actually meeting and they're actually saying how they feel. It's almost weirdly old school.
Weird.
And I don't really view it that way, but people could. Like, I could see how people could see, like, this is the way to date people. This is the way to find love. I still don't agree, but I understand, like, people that are maybe a little more old school will be like, well, this is, like, it's on TV, but at least I get to actually date the guy and go on cool dates. And, like, especially, like, Bachelor in Paradise and the Winter Games thing is, like, well, there are, like, it makes sense that people would connect because they're actually talking to each other.
Yeah, true. Face-to-face communication. No phones. Like,
no phone.
one.
Yeah,
you don't even have the
exactly.
opportunity to pull it out.
You can't get distracted.
Yeah.
And now we all get distracted all the time. People actually forget about people they were texting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here you can't. You're
That's
just
true.
focused on this one guy. It's interesting. I think it probably does teach a lot of people who don't end up with the person a lot about what they want.
Yeah.
Because you're actually forced to go on dates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I think so too. That's interesting.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if the show ever adjusted based on technology. Like, they changed it up so that it's like there was a pool of like 100 women, and he has a Tinder, like he has an app for it, and he gets to just pick dates through that or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Bachelor 2020.
Yep, Bachelor
2020 is like 2 years away.
Yeah,
That's
it's 2 years
wow.
away.
God damn.
crazy.
So where were we? I guess Beckack, that guy. I loved when Beckack was like, I feel like you live your life in a movie. You think it's all going to work out like The Notebook. And then Ross was like, I do think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
idiot.
You dummy.
He had such chunky hair.
Very
He had,
chunky hair.
But like, if he was a good-looking guy, but just then you look at the side of his head, it's like gross chunks of hair.
It reminded me of that Simpsons joke on the monorail episode when the guy's like, I shouldn't have stopped for that haircut. Because it's like Ross traveled all the way to
Yeah.
Peru, but he obviously stopped for a haircut.
Yeah, that's true.
He got like a weird. I looked him up on Instagram, of course, and he used to have really long hair. They met in college. There's a picture of them together with him with like just long, straight hair, and they were young. And he's a coach for the Stanford football team. He's like the performance coach for
Interesting.
the Stanford football team. So he's a football guy for sure. And I don't know. He seems like he's nice, but he seems not nice in a relationship. Like he seems like not a horrible person, but he seems like he wouldn't let her talk. I couldn't believe it. He was telling her things and telling her what he thought should happen and never asked how she felt about it.
Yeah,
and she
it was
tried
bad.
and he would talk over her. It was disgusting. I hated it. I really liked him, and then he opened his mouth and I hated him.
Yeah, he was a real piece of shit.
And people online were like siding with him, and everyone's defending Becca. Little Becca was like, he's classic, like emotionally abusive guy.
Yeah.
Like, classic.
I'm trying to look for the tweet she said. I want to read it because I think it was very good. Oh, yeah. Anyone who sympathizes with Becca's ex needs to reevaluate and realize that his behavior is textbook manipulative and emotionally abusive.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I cannot help but agree with.
And I haven't necessarily experienced that. I've experienced some guys that are like that, but when I was younger and didn't really understand it, but even I could pick it out in a second that that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
So anyone who thinks he's a cool guy, I don't agree because he's obviously a dick. Like,
At the very least, you'd be like, oh, there's something wrong with this guy, but I can't put my finger on it. You know what I mean? Just the way he was so unable to listen to her side or even consider like what he was saying or doing.
and I
I
wonder
loved
what
it.
happened. I want to know what happened. I want to know what ended. It seems like they kind of grew apart, but they were talking about like ups and downs. Like, did he cheat on her? Did because it seems like he does try to move in on stuff. The way she was talking, when she's happy, he tries to move in on it, is kind of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
They said something about how that's what he thought he wanted, like for her to go. Like, seemed like they were growing apart, but he was up for it. It kind of seemed like, to me, it's like something was happening where it sounded like she wanted to say that he wanted. Anyways, I mean, we're just speculating on their relationship at this point. We have no idea.
I just wanted to know what happened. I'm like, give me the
I know.
juice.
I really wanted to know.
I just wanted to know, like, is he even a bigger piece of shit? Like, is this a guy that cheated on her?
Or
and
was
is
this
coming
like
to
a
do-
tragic thing?
Or
that
is
these
this
two were in
like
love and
they were
just couldn't
really
be
in love
together?
and they
Yeah.
couldn't be together? Because if that was it, it would make me not think he was such a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
But
Her-
just
her-
the way he came at her, I was like, oh, you suck.
yeah.
All she said about it was what we had wasn't healthy for so damn long. Like, it probably just sounds like it wasn't a very good relationship, and they took them a while to realize it, and then they did, and then for some reason
And
he
she was done.
How old's Beccac?
26. I got it here.
So they dated.
No,
in,
I don't
like-
have it there. I don't know.
It's something like that, right? I think it's like 26 or something. I think so. If that's true, I think they dated like at the end of high school.
It
like
would have to
early
be,
No,
yeah.
they met in college.
So they met in college. Okay.
Beccac
So
is
she's probably 27 or
27, yeah.
27. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So they met in college and they dated for that whole time. It's like your college like boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, I mean, sometimes that works out, but it's not. It's a pretty small step away from a high school sweetheart.
I even
Yeah.
said it. I won't say who out of my past relationships, but it reminded me the guy I dated was way better than this guy. Not emotionally abusive or anything, but him coming back and her just seeming like done, and it being like, oh man, I don't even want to deal with this. Like, obviously we're not getting back together.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I would have been in that situation if that guy had come back after all those years. I would have been like, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah.
of
But
course we're not.
This
gonna
was
come
only
back.
a year removed, is it not?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a long time
I mean,
when
I
you
guess
haven't
that's
dated
Sure,
someone.
sure,
like,
yeah.
if you've been away from someone and she was just like, she's done. Like, she was
yeah.
done when they broke up.
Yeah.
This is all in his head. Like, this
That's-
idea is all in his head. And that just shows how, like, he's cut off from everything else because he should realize
Yeah.
that.
That's what made it so much more ridiculous, though, is the fact that they've been apart a year and he chooses now to
Yeah,
do it. Like,
exactly.
I
He
guess it's
wants
because
to
he
be
kept
famous.
saying, like, I found out she was on this show, which that seemed bullshit, too. Like,
Yeah, and then he's like,
I'm
I didn't know it ended in a proposal till last week. It's like,
Yeah.
I think his
Are
last
you
name
new,
is
dude?
Jurgle.
yeah, are you
Dirtle.
new to knowing, like, okay, maybe you don't watch The Bachelor, but you know what it is, right? Like, everyone
Yeah.
knows what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love how he called Ari the guy.
The guy, yeah.
that was
I
pretty
don't even know his name.
And why did he go talk to Ari? Like,
That's
go talk
weird,
to her.
too. I know.
I bet you
If he was that into
producers-
her, he would have made a beeline for her without any.
Yeah.
I think producers made him talk to Ari because they wanted to see like,
Right.
what would happen. Definitely.
Well, I don't like that move at all.
So dumb.
If she wants, she can do whatever she wants. If she doesn't need Ari to know about it.
No, I know. I agree.
He's not talking to her every time
In
he
real
talks
life-
to another woman.
In real life, if you went back to go after your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, you wouldn't go talk to their current person they're dating first.
Yeah.
Hey,
Doesn't
man,
make
just heads
sense.
up. I'm going to try and steal my ex-girlfriend away from you.
I've had
I'll check in with you
100
after.
boyfriends
Yeah.
try to get me back. Did they ever talk to you?
You've had 100 boyfriends trying to get you back?
Yeah,
when
they
did
ever,
this happen?
Like years ago.
What?
Yeah, 100.
When?
A whole
100?
Whole 100.
Have you dated 100 people?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I didn't even know about this. None of them came to talk to me first.
No, they all just talk to
They
me.
all
See?
just talked to you. Wow.
So you should just go to the person. Because
Well,
Andy
so the
probably
person-
would have told them. Yeah, of course. I didn't get back with any of them. It
What
didn't
do we
happen.
think?
I've only dated a few people.
What do we think about Ari pulling the same move at the rose ceremony when he took Kendall aside again? Was that just you think that was just a producer move? Like, we got to jazz this up a little, do that thing again, so maybe people think that he's going to give Kendall the rose or ask her about it again.
No, I think
Or
he
was he
just trying
being
to be
nice?
I think
Yeah,
he
I
was
think he was
trying-
just being
I
nice,
do
yeah.
think, like, here's the thing. I think he's done some shit stuff. I think he's a shit guy in how he at least used to treat women. But I don't think he's necessarily a mean guy. It's like a weird. I think he's still a nice person. I just don't agree with his actions. But I think he is trying to be kind. That's what I felt. Like, he was like, I actually connected with her and I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have done it.
I was going to say, I think that happens a lot in the final three, where, like, you don't just do the rose ceremony and leave the person standing there. Like, you take them aside or, like, even before the rose ceremony and say, like, hey, man, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really think much of that. I thought it was just a classic bachelorette move of
Oh,
letting
yeah.
them down gently kind of thing.
And I was so checked out by this point. Kendall, did she cry quite a bit? Did Ari cry? He must have.
He did not, and
She barely did.
did.
Interesting.
She did in the limo more, but I noticed it because someone on Twitter pointed out that the only person Ari's cried saying goodbye to so far was Becca M.
Yeah, interesting.
Not
I mean,
with
without
Tia,
the
not with
age
Kendall.
difference, I think Becca M probably would be there.
Yeah.
They even said it on the Women Tell All. She was like, he couldn't get it out of his head, and he realized he was too old for her.
Yeah.
Like, he had made a decision, which is, like,
And
you
she
can
said that
respect
too. She was like, I was thinking about that maybe he's too old for me. Like, he doesn't want to do anything at night. And like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like, wasn't she saying, like, he was convincing himself that it wasn't going to work?
yeah.
I think that's what she was getting at.
And she was saying that she was starting to maybe realize that it wouldn't be
Yeah.
like they still could have tried it. It's so funny. I follow her on Instagram and she's like, she seems like a teen.
Yeah,
Not only does
yeah.
she seem like she's 22, she seems like a full-on teen. She's always in basements smoking weed. And her room just looks like a younger person's room. Like, she just looks young. Like,
Yeah.
and it's weird, when she talks, she does seem much wiser and older than her years. But then there's parts of her where you're like, this is no way they would connect. Like, there's
Yeah.
just no way.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way this was gonna work out. But,
No way.
But kudos for her to being on the show that long.
Yeah, and now she'll
Yeah.
be in Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, yeah. And Paradise, did we talk about this last time? They're making it international, so there will be internationals in Paradise.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Which
That's
is a great
great.
idea. I mean, that we said it last week, Sarah, when you weren't here, but the international aspect is what made the Winter Games so good.
This is what I liked about it, because they've tried to do it before when they bring like fans in.
Oh, yeah.
Those are people that have never experienced it and don't really get it and
Yeah.
don't get like the game part of it and like but people who have been through, because all of it's the same. Like, hey man, maybe the camera works a bit worse in Canada, but the like
It's more the sets and the host.
yeah, but sometimes
Yeah.
like weird angles and stuff, like they just haven't done it as much, but the game is the same. So like everyone's experienced the same thing. So they all have kind of the same language, like they get it. And it was interesting to see like some people don't have fantasy suites. Like I think it was
Well, in Japan, they don't-
Australia
you
doesn't
Yeah,
have fantasy
they don't even
suites or
kiss on
something.
Japan.
Japan, you kiss one, you kiss the finalists. That's it.
Yeah, and I think it was Australia or something doesn't have fantasy suites.
But I love it. This is so smart for them. Also, it like pushing the brand internationally. Like instead of it being like there's one, and then there's a bunch of these shitty knockoffs. It's like, no,
Yeah.
why not embrace the whole thing?
Yeah.
Make the whole
It did
thing.
make it more substantial. Like I
Yeah.
even like with Kevin, I was like, he is attractive. Like
Made you rethink.
yeah, because like everyone was like, whoa. Even here, like Libby, Nessa's roommate, I'll call her out. She thought he was hot, and I was like, no, he looks like a caveman. And then I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
He is good.
These are high quality bachelors.
These are high quality bachelors. Even I was shitting on them, and I'm Canadian. And just one last thing about Kevin's way nicer. So much. He was so nice throughout all of it and all the things. And it seemed very genuine. And I remember on The Bachelor Canada, they really edited him to be an asshole, and we all hated him. But he's quite nice. He's a very nice guy. And I saw him in person, and he seemed like he was just being real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
I kept showing Anessa how Benoit kisses, and I just kept like shoving her down and like rubbing my face all over her, and she's like, ah! Very scary.
I'd be shocked if that relationship lasts.
I know.
I know they're probably going to want to go the televised wedding route because we're talking Claire here, but I don't know.
Oh,
Definitely
God,
the
please
most
don't.
shocking thing out of the whole last 2 weeks is that they got engaged.
Yeah.
This episode, everything we've talked about, that was shocking and stupid.
How shocking! I mean, it was
yeah.
also, it was slightly shocking that ex was Becca's.
Yes.
We didn't even really talk about that, but like we had it as Tia's, then we figured out, oh, okay, it must be Lauren's because of
they
his
met in
stupid
college.
accent.
Because they met in college, so he could be from wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
His accent was never as thick as in that preview clip.
Yes.
My girl.
My girl, I want my girl. 'Cause
Everything
probably
else
comes
was
out when he's mad.
It wasn't the rest wasn't too bad. He was pretty
Yeah.
straightforward.
It
but,
came through once in a while, but anyways.
And they really painted him as being like, I need to get in there. And then he just like quietly sat with Ari and had a chat.
Yeah, it was so weird. I don't know. I don't know. So next week, Ari went on. There was a Facebook post where Ari's like, "Everybody, next week, it's going to be Monday and Tuesday." So I think what they're going to do is do after the final rose on Tuesday. Then
But then we watched it and they're like the 3-hour finale.
yeah, I know but
on
I saw the
Monday.
Facebook post. Like, I don't know.
Weird.
It was
Yeah,
weird.
Maybe that's what Holly was talking about. Because they did say 3-hour finale. Does that mean Monday's 3 hours and they still have more to do on Tuesday?
I hope not.
Jesus
I hope
Christ.
not. I sincerely hope not.
It's too
See,
much.
you know what? You know what this might be a clue about is that the thing at the end of 2 hours, there's like no proposal or something, and they really do a hard cut, and then they make people sweat, or they make us sweat as the audience, and then they do AFR on Tuesday. They want people to talk about it and get
think
jazzed
that's-
because it's a
But
controversial
3
ending.
hours?
I can see that happening.
No, not 3 hours, sir. Like 2 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday.
They
One on
said
Tuesday.
3-hour finale though on Monday.
Right, and
they were like Monday's 3-hour
Oh,
finale.
really?
okay. They specifically showed
Yeah,
that.
they
Okay.
said that. That's
Wow.
when I was like, oh, there's only
Well,
one
honestly,
day.
I could see this being a Monday 3-hour finale and then an AFR on Tuesday. I could see that being.
Let's just
true
see
as
the
well.
schedule. I bet we could bring it
Careful
up here.
with that there. You might want to use this computer instead.
Okay.
We got 2 computers going here. We're in sunny California, and there's all kinds of problems.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, we had a real hard time getting going today. It was super difficult, but I think we figured it out.
Mic quality might have dipped a bit with us because, but it also might be fine.
Not much on the ABC site about it.
Well, if you go to their schedule, it should say what their schedule is for Monday and Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah?
That's what I always do to figure out these things. Well, not Bachelor schedule, ABC schedule.
Yeah.
ABC TV show
Monday.
schedule, ABC.com.
Okay, Bachelor's 8, and then Jimmy Kimmel Live's at 11:35. So
Yep.
Tuesday,
So that's Tuesday.
The Bachelor at 8,
Whoa!
and then Kevin Probably Saves the World at 10.
Huh.
That's weird.
So it's 2 hours?
So it's this
3 hours on Monday and 2
3
hours
Monday
on
and
Tuesday.
2 on Tuesday.
Jesus.
Good God.
That's too much.
Well,
I don't think Holly knows
So
that.
I think we are right. I think the Monday is the 3-hour finale, and then Tuesday is after the final rose, because on Tuesday it says the description for the episode is Ari, Becca, and Lauren discuss the outcome of their journey. Guests talk about Ari's choices.
Yeah, so something happens here.
yeah, something definitely
happens.
I mean, and we know this because people were alluding to something happens, and that's what I was saying.
Oh, there's big The gossip's really brimming right now.
The gossip is
with
brimming, and
everything.
there's obviously the big spoiler was released by Riley Steve, and we didn't read that spoiler, but unfortunately, I think I've been able to piece together what happens. It's a bummer. I
some
also
people
read
are
there was
also
a
making-
brutal spoiler today on like on the internet, like ET Canada or something, which
Whoa.
came up in one of my one of my feeds. And it just had the spoiler, it just like said, but like it didn't say exactly, but like I know what you're saying. I know what happens because of this now.
Yeah.
It was brutal. It was a spoiler.
It was
Like,
a huge
bad.
spoiler.
Damn.
Awful.
Yeah, so we kind of know.
I
but,
basically know, yeah.
Damn, that
bummer.
sucks.
So
It
we
really does
can't
suck.
we can't speculate anymore about really who's gonna win. 'Cause
Judging on what I see here, I think this is a
we can't say because we have too much. We have
I
intel.
guess I have too much intel now. 'cause
But that
that's
wasn't our
stupid.
fault.
No, it's not.
Oh well.
But
Well,
we
it's like
still don't
you
know
guys
for
said.
sure. That's kind of why I don't even want to speculate. I just want to see now how it plays out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's good. Because that kind of took the wind out of my sails this past week. Honestly, I mean, hey,
it
there was
wasn't
just
as-
too much. Like with the Winter Games and the
Yes.
women tell all and everything. It was just like, oh, this is it's getting a little exhausting here. Like 5 hours.
Oh,
of
I
the
got a
show
feeling
week
we're
or
gonna
whatever.
feel the exact same way. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do an episode on? I guess we'll just do one next Wednesday,
We've
right?
been doing it on
Yeah.
Wednesday. So.
Yeah.
That way we can talk about the AFR and everything. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
All right.
five hours of Bachelor.
5 hours of
like
Bachelor.
that
Oh,
isn't
God.
even like
That's too
like we're
much.
being forced to watch that.
Yeah.
We can't decide not to. It's the end of the season. They're
Yeah.
forcing you to watch 5 hours of their show.
They're forcing you. We have to.
We have to.
We have to.
Usually
watch
it's 3 tops at the end.
Yeah.
And now it's 3 hours of just the show. And
Too
then
much.
2 hours of them talking?
No thanks.
Usually it's an hour of talking, 2 hours of the show.
This thing the thing that happens is must be pretty big. If they
I hope.
It's
plan
gotta
to talk
be
about it
big.
for 2 hours and show us it for 3 hours. It's insane.
And he's been doing a real blitz on the old, like, Good Morning America. He was on the Chew. He was everywhere. He's really bopping around. I think he does something shitty, and he's trying to look good right now.
I
He's trying
hope
to, like,
so.
really paint himself as this awesome dude before he does something really shitty on TV.
Yeah, well.
I know what you did.
Cannot
I
confirm
can't
or
believe
deny.
you did it. My friend,
These are my friends.
you called my. I think she called him a slut. Awful, Crystal. Like that is a word is not allowed.
Yeah, that came
even
up a
when
couple
Becca
times.
said bitch, I was like, "You're showing your age. Don't say bitch, Becca.
Yeah,
Bitch is not a word that's allowed right now.
no.
It's one of those
It's a
words.
fun word, though.
It is.
I
A fun
love the
word.
word.
Admit it's a fun
I'll
word.
call a dog a bitch any day.
The word bitch is really fun.
It's
It
fun, but
really
it's,
rolls off the tongue.
everything that
Yeah.
comes with it is quite horrible.
Sure,
so,
sure.
don't use it.
You don't call anyone that, you know.
Yeah, and don't try and tell someone,
a
even if
real
it's
way.
Crystal, to say make her say she's a bitch.
Just admit
Like,
you were being a bitch.
just be like, you're being shit.
It's fun
She's
to
being
say,
shit.
bitch.
It is. It was just
Shit
with the
bitch.
accent.
Remember when
shit
Meredith?
bitch, shit
Remember
bitch.
when
is
who was
fun.
it? Meredith Brooks? Is that her name?
Yeah. That song, bitch.
That song, bitch. She really tried to take bitch back. Someone needs to do that
How
again.
old do we think Meredith Brooks is?
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the latest.
We'll do one last thing, and
She's
then we'll.
48.
Who's Meredith Brooks?
Who's Meredith Brooks?
I'm gonna
Good
say
question.
Meredith Brooks sang the song "Bitch," and that song was big in
Yeah.
what year was that? That's probably like
Would have been the
97,
90s,
98.
mid 90s. Yeah.
I say 52.
I think she's 50.
Okay, let's
Okay,
see.
let's
That's a
see.
tight race. It's a tight race.
Tight race. 50. What did you say, Glenn? 40.
48.
Oh, 49 or 59.
Oh. Whoa.
59. Meredith Brooks.
What about Stevie Wonder?
Okay, sure. Stevie Wonder. Why not?
70.
80.
I think Stevie Wonder is pretty old. I'm gonna say he is 83. Whoa! You're way off. He's 67.
What? He's only 67?
Glenn,
You know what? He was a little kid when he started.
how old do you think Elton John is?
That's why I thought he was so old. But
we can see it, but how old do you think
Elton
Elton John
John,
is?
70.
bang on.
Right on, Glenn. Did you know that?
No, well, I mean, I might have subconsciously, but
I think we did that one before. I actually think Elton John came up before
I
on
don't
the
think
show.
so.
Okay, I got one for Glenn because Sarah and I can see it. How old is Natalie Imbruglia? Singer of Torn.
50. 50.
50.
50.
I don't know.
I think that's funny. I don't know why that's funny.
She is 43 years old.
And what
That's
about
not too far
Alanis
off.
Morissette, Glenn, while we're at it?
Wow.
50.
Wrong again. 43 years old as well.
Whoa.
43
She
club.
was quite young when she got going.
Yeah,
That's true.
Like,
yeah,
she
yeah.
was in, I think she was
I'm
like 20.
Straight up embarrassed that I thought Stevie Wonder was 83 years old.
Me
That's
too.
embarrassing for you. I did think he was, how old?
He's not even 70
I
years
was the
old.
closest.
You were the
Crazy.
closest, yeah.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Glenn,
Let's do
you pick
more.
one. Who should we
Let's
do?
do a blind one.
Let's
blind one
go
for all of us.
with
Stay on the
let's
theme
go
of
with
musicians that were maybe
Debbie
Same-
Harry.
Debbie Harry.
I'm going to say 75.
I'm gonna say Debbie Harry is 67. No, wait, 69.
72.
72.
Whoa, Glenn,
Bang
you are
on.
killing
Glenn
it.
crushing it today.
No, wait. I looked it up. Sorry.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
I'm gonna say 72, and it's right because I'm looking at it. Well, wow.
That's great.
Okay.
That was really fun. Just some real random people this time. How old is we know 36.
Yeah. That one's not as fun. We already know the answer to that one.
How old is Chris Harrison?
Chris Harrison's 40.
Oh, I think he's 45.
I'll split the difference. 43.
Here we go. Brrrr. 46.
That was closest.
What did I say?
You said 40.
Wait.
Or no, he said
I
42.
said 40.
I said 45. Great.
Okay. Well, I'm
Well,
good.
you know what,
You know
guys?
what?
Great little round of guess the celebrity's age.
Guess the random celebrity's age.
Guess the random celebrity.
How old does everyone think we are? Tweet at us. Don't text us. No one has our number.
Us.
Tweet at us. How old do you think we all are? And Glenn, I'm just gonna put this forward. I'm gonna see what the feeling is online, but maybe Liv could come on next week for
yeah,
the
good
finale.
idea.
That'd be fun.
That would be really fun.
Special guest spot.
Special guest spot. We'll have a little celebratory time for the end of the show. And
Yeah, we definitely got to do that.
we need to put out some bets out there. Who is going to be the Bachelorette? And I'm going to do a silent vote of who I think it is because mine is impacted by the things I know.
I'm gonna say at first I thought Tia, but now I'm thinking it's very possibly Kendall. But maybe Kendall's too fun. I don't know.
Okay, well, I have an idea of who I think it is. So
Just to be different, then I'll say Tia. I'll remain on the Tia.
So just to be
wagon.
clear, Sarah, you think it's the runner-up of who
whoever,
of this, right?
whatever happens at the end, I think it's the person who
Right,
loses.
you think it's the
one
person
of the
who
two
loses.
women that are left,
Right.
I
okay.
think.
Right. Fair enough.
But I'm not going to say anything else other
Right.
than that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible, but oof. And I don't know. I don't think Tia's performance at Women
No.
Tell All was good enough to put her up.
I don't think she's a fan favorite. I really don't. I don't think
people like her, but
I
anyways.
think people like other people more.
Anyways,
Anyways.
we gotta go. This is the end of the show. Thanks everybody. We'll.
I'm 33 almost, so.
Oh my
I
God, you
can't-
ruined it! They were
ruined
supposed
it.
to tweet in at us.
I ruined it. I'm almost 33. In April, I turned 33.
Okay, everyone. Wow, she told you exactly it. All right, guys. We'll see everyone next week
Goodbye.
for the finale. Bye.